Hey guys, welcome back to another ZAANDARNEWS episode.
Hello everybody.
We are a tad behind schedule, but that's okay because it's Florida.
Just a little bit, yeah. We had a tropical storm recently. That's kind of what stopped the news from coming out earlier, but we're here now. And that's
yes, the tropical storm that skipped us, mind you.
Yeah, it kind of like, it was pittering down because I had a HHN employee preview, and we thought that it was going to get rained out and all that stuff. Nothing happened. I was never actually really worried, to be honest.
Nothing happened. It's Florida. If you're in Florida, the hurricanes will come and go. It'll say huge warning, and then it'll make you prep all week, and then it'll swing by.
Yeah, and then just be over, you know. We're kind of just used to it by now.
Yep.
It's kind of like a sporting event.
Yep.
We never take anything seriously when it comes to Florida weather.
Yeah, no. Speaking of Shady, is there any more hurricanes coming?
Back to you, Shady.
Good, let's keep it that way. And the first topic of the day is Charles Martinet is retired from Mario.
Which, he is absolutely amazing, shaped my whole childhood. Super Mario 64 was like my first video game ever. So it's just such an amazing thing that he gets to retire like peacefully, and it's really an end of an era, but he did such an amazing job, and I couldn't ask for a better voice actor to be.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Charles. Woohoo! Very much looking forward to seeing all of you at events around the world in the years to come. Let's go.
Mario. I don't know who's gonna replace him next, but they got some big shoes to fill.
Obviously, Rich Alvarez from Stupid Mario Brothers.
I hope I didn't miss the call.
Is going to be the new Mario.
Oh, absolutely.
Or Chris Pratt.
Oh god.
No.
He was great in the movie. I will give him that. Like I will eat my words and say that I did actually like Chris Pratt in the movie, but I just don't think for the games it's the best idea. But they'll find something.
Doesn't have that wahoo outgoing voice.
Right, yeah. I think you have to have a certain like flair like Charles Martinet to do
Tom
video
Holland.
games. Zendaya. The next voice.
On the next topic of the day, the amazing Toronto Dumps mugshot has been leaked, and it looks marvelous. It looks like he's taking it very seriously.
The memes are like actually killing me. They're all so freaking funny. I just like, please keep them up, guys. Please make more memes because they're so good.
Please keep going with the mugshot memes. We need more updates on real news. Now he's out on bail?
I believe it.
I don't... You know, probably. The richest man in America is probably out on bail.
Yeah, well, either way, karma's a bitch, and the mugshot is out now, and everyone's laughing at it, so...
Yes, he voted for Bowser, so that mugshot is proof that Bowser is in the wrong.
Absolutely.
And now, on to anime topics. One Piece recently passed Harry Potter in sales for the live-action and, manga.
Yeah, the manga passed sales for Harry Potter, which is freaking incredible, and it's kind of like the #1 media in the world right now because of the live-action One Piece on Netflix, which, as a One Piece fan, I was really nervous going into the live-action, but it's actually incredible. There was so much love put into it, and Eiichiro Oda was like on set every step of the way, so if you're thinking about getting into One Piece, I honestly think the live action is a great place to start.
That's how I did.
Yeah, and then watch the anime if you want to, because it's honestly amazing.
I couldn't get into the anime whatsoever, and then I saw the live action. Oh, this is actually good.
Yeah, and then people start the anime and then find out, oh, that's actually really good too. So,
yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy that we're in this era where One Piece is more accessible for everybody, and I hope everybody enjoys it because it's like my favorite anime of all time. So.
Yep. And with that note, we have an amazing show called Ahsoka that's out that's breaking Disney Plus records because people are now tuning into Disney Plus and not losing faith in Disney Plus because Star Wars have had their ups and downs because executives haven't been taking George Lucas's notes. They've been tossing them out the window. But with Ahsoka, they've been realizing their faults, and it's been getting better. Give the Lucasfilm to Dave Filoni, honestly.
Yeah, he's like kind of like our god of Star Wars at this point. So like keep doing what you're doing because like everything that you've made so far has just been incredible. Like the newest season of Clone Wars, Ahsoka, pretty much anything that you make in Star Wars is just a great expansion to the universe, and Ahsoka is no different. It's great. Rosario Dawson does just such an amazing job as Ahsoka. Like, she's born for the role, for sure.
Yes. Now, our anime expert, Michael, is also a martial arts expert. What do you have to say about the fighting in this show?
Back to you, Mike.
Like, they didn't even edit it. Like, they didn't even do the trick where... There's a trick in, like, editing where they would speed it up a little bit, and you would sometimes remove frames in between to make it look like... You can make it look like a stronger action. You don't really even have to train the actors to a really high extent, to a professional extent, but you can... as long as they have, like, the proper base technique of the motion... then they could edit it, they could speed it up just a little bit, remove frames of point of impact and point of starting and maybe a couple in the middle. As long as they have that really good movement, they don't have to even be fast with it. So, like, there's no excuse. It just... They didn't even try to edit it. The editing was, for the fights, looked kind of meh. It looks like they put very bare minimal effort into actually the choreography itself. They could just be focusing on story, but it's like it's Disney. I mean, come on, man. You got the Disney money. Make a good fight scene. You have good lore, but why not put a nice hunk of just on that little ice cream, on that apple pie? Get that cream, Disney. Get that cream and make the fight scenes a dream.
That's not true. The show's good, okay?
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, the amazing inflation that's happening right now in America is toppling what we can do on our outside life. Do we want to go out, or do we want to pay rent and bills? You decide.
I hate it here.
Yes, we have to survive.
Ugh.
I think I have enough money to eat today.
That was a question for me this past week.
Now, John Bodison, what do you have to say about the US&A?
Hello everyone, this is John Bonerson, and today we are going to talk about Labor Day. Might be too late by the time this video comes out, but it is never too late to learn about where the hell we got Labor Day from. Many folks just look at Labor Day as another holiday to take off and get your rest and be away from the place you hate the most. Where did we get Labor Day from? Well, I'm going to start off with the 8-hour workday. Without labor movements, we wouldn't have the 8-hour workday, weekends, or any time off. It started as far back as 1791. Carpenters had formed a strike for a 10-hour workday in Philadelphia. And then later on, in 1835, a general strike also began in Philadelphia for a 10-hour workday and 2 meals. Businesses reacted as they usually do.
Bloody peasant! Oh, what a giveaway! Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
This sentiment carried over into the Civil War, and around August of 1868, Congress had passed an 8-hour workday for all federal employees. Andrew Johnson, a known Confederate sympathizer, vetoed this bill because, if you love slavery, why would you start treating working folks like people? Not to worry. Again, Grant also had to fix another Confederate fuck-up.
Oh, way down south in the land of traitors, rattlesnakes and alligators.
And he proclaimed a national 8-hour work law. But federal law alone, or proclamations, was not going to enforce the policy. It was going to be up to several unions and working class folks to make sure that businesses respected the 8-hour workday without a cut in pay. And this pressure continued. A lot of people might credit Henry Ford for popularizing the 8-hour workday idea. It's kind of true. It's mostly propaganda. It wasn't through Ford alone. It wasn't through his brilliance on coming up with the idea. The 8-hour workday was a common thing that people were asking for time and time again. It was through his ability to pay attention and see that this is what his employees wanted. The Ford website will try to tell you that, well, they were bored, so they went to other companies, when the reality was, it wasn't because they were bored, it was because a lot of companies were becoming flexible. And why wouldn't they become flexible? You're asking them to take less time that I have to pay you for. I'll happily give you your time off as long as I don't got to pay you for it. Well, that's where Henry Ford came up with the brilliant idea of the $5 a day, which at that time was a lot of money. In today's value, it'd be $150 a day. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot right now, but you know. And because Henry Ford was allowing these people, his employees, to have time and a lot of money on their hands, productivity skyrocketed around 1914 and 1950. It's almost like when you invest in your employees will invest in you. What a concept! 1916 would be the year that the 8-hour workday had extended to private railroad companies, and the Supreme Court in the case Wilson v. New had upheld that the railroad companies fix their wages and need to fix their hours so that the railroad company employees could have an adequate amount of time off. Something that Biden and Reagan had forgotten when they decided to union bust rails and airways. And then in 1937, the Fair Labor Standards Act passed as part of the New Deal to include overtime pay when an employee's hours exceed a 40-hour work week. This didn't just extend to federal and railroad employees exclusively. This included all businesses. And it prohibited child labor. And that just seems to be something lobbyists forgot about when they're trying to revitalize child labor. And if you made it this far, thank you. Before anyone just tried to dismiss it as another federal holiday, just remember, it was through union pressure that had gotten y'all these days off. You can get more, but it won't be through these two assholes. But if you're not bored, irritated at my soapboxing, here's some further reading. Thank you for watching.
You're not the very lighthearted person, are you, John?
No.
But thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the realness.
And lastly, in the world of sports, what is it called? Silent
Library?
Silent Library has returned to our college, Full Sail campus, that's right down the street from me.
And also, Moist Critical was there recently, and I've never seen so many cars at Full Sail. So.
Honestly, the one time I'm not on campus. Right. And they've had a wrestling match within the library, but maintaining respect, I think.
By trying to be quiet during a wrestling match, which is actually insane. So
Indeed.
Go watch the clip if you can find it.
Oh, no way. Oh, right on the nap time mat.
Arius, talk to us about that.
So we're back to find out if two things that don't normally go together actually work. And that's wrestling and the library. Now, these two wrestlers couldn't quite maintain the peace because they took the phrase hitting the books to an all new level. And by the end of their match, just like the books in the library, they not only got placed on the bookshelf, but through it by the librarian.
Oh God. He asked for the... Yep. He said, get your head in a book.
You just been booked.
Classic librarian.
As a Full Sail alumni, I can agree to those terms.
Yep, not me though.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of Xander News. Join us next time for another riveting episode. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to talk to Richard Johnson, who owes me money. Richard, are you at 420?
I never have money.